What is up, guys? It's Romo Rants here, looking to break down WrestleMania 41 for you, coming this Saturday and Sunday, a two-night event. So, in today's video, what I'm planning on doing is breaking down WrestleMania 41, giving you my predictions, and kind of a little preview for each match in case you're new to wrestling. I know WrestleMania season is a very exciting time of year for everyone in the pro wrestling industry, fans. For those who don't know, I used to be a former independent pro wrestler here locally in the Metro Detroit area. So I do have a lot of experience, even a little bit of experience, even being in the ring. So I can give you some perspective on what to expect from each match, and ultimately who I think is going to win. I also have betonline.ag up, so I also have the betting lines available that are available as of right now. Granted, right now it is Tuesday, so lines always move, especially in this sport where, let's be honest, the outcomes are predetermined. So sometimes match outcomes do get leaked, but you can bet on betonline.ag. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just know it's one of the sites that has them. I know occasionally some other sites have it as well. And especially with this year's WrestleMania being in Vegas, it wouldn't shock me if some casinos in Vegas even have lines open a bit eventually. So before we get started, some housekeeping items. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Rumble Rants. That's where I share all my UFC bets, predictions. But in today's video, we're diving into WrestleMania. So I'm going to start from the top of the card and dive into each matchup today. So I'll exit out of that. So on to the first match, which is supposed to be in night one of WrestleMania. We have Jade Cargill taking on Naomi. So this is an interesting feud where Naomi was aligned with Bianca Belair. Naomi turned on Jade. She said that she did it for Bianca, kind of like the old Rikishi, I did it for The Rock script. But Naomi's done a great job in this feud. I thought going into this feud would be all Jade, but Naomi's done a great job as a heel, proving to be credible in this situation. This is one of the matches that's had a great build-up. In saying that, I do think Jade Cargill's going to get the win here. I bet online.ag she's minus 400 favorite. I do think she wins. I don't think you're going to have her losing at WrestleMania in her first, I don't know if it's actually her first singles loss, but she has been pretty dominant since jumping over from AEW, especially after being out for quite some time. I do expect that Jade is going to get the win here, but Naomi's done a great job building this feud. So on to the next one. We got Rey Mysterio taking on El Grande Americano. No, that's not Chad Gable. That's El Grande Americano. I love this build. I know some people have kind of given Chad Gable and the WWE some shit originally when this character or program kind of first started, where it was going. And Chad Gable went to Mexico to learn how to beat luchadors. Is now fitting arguably the greatest luchador of all time in Rey Mysterio on WrestleMania Saturday. So this match, Chad Gable is a new character. He's been going after Rey Mysterio in the LWO. You expect to see some American made as well as the LWO in this match as well, maybe some interference. But Rey Mysterio being the minus 145 favorite, El Americano Grande or El Grande Americano coming in at plus 105. I do like Chad Gable here, or El Grande Americano. I like him at plus 105. I think he needs the win to better establish this new character, if he keeps it long term or not. Regardless, it's been a funny character. It kind of reminds me of the old Owen Hart Blue Blazer, where he says he's not the Blue Blazer, and everyone knows it's Owen Hart. It's kind of the same way everyone knows it's Chad Gable, but it's not, and the internet's done a great job of keeping that joke going. I'm going to go with Chad Gable. I think he gets it done here, gets the win, and beats Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. On the next match here on WrestleMania Saturday, we have LA Knight defending his United States Championship against Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu has been a monster since jumping over into WWE with the new bloodline, and still aligns himself with Solo Sikoa. This match has a few different outcomes. Jacob Fatu won this chance to fight, to compete with LA Knight on Saturday by beating Braun Strowman in a one-on-one last-minute standings match, I believe it was, on SmackDown a few weeks back. Now, LA Knight against Jacob Fatu. I think this can go one of two ways. Either one, Jacob Fatu wins in a pretty dominant fashion to kind of establish himself as a new monster heel, or you see LA Knight win by Solo Sikoa getting involved and costing Jacob Fatu, which starts a feud between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. So I think it goes one of two ways. With the line right now on betting sites at Jacob Fatu minus 400, LA Knight at plus 250, I think you'd have to bet LA Knight at that number at plus 250, but without interference, obviously, I think it's going to be Jacob Fatu. Depends how WWE wants to book it. Either way, I think it's kind of one of those win-win where I think both outcomes are going to put together a great a great story for this one. So on to the tag team match. We have the War Raiders taking on the New Day. The New Day with a massive heel turn, one of my favorite heel turns of all time, turning on Big E. Now taking on the War Raiders. The New Day are minus 1,000 this matchup. It hasn't quite had the build. It's probably one of the I want to say worst builds because they've had some time on TV, but this build just hasn't really hit for me. I don't know. They put on a few good matches against one another, but it's not been a lot of heat attached to this one. It's been more of everyone hates the New Day since they turned on Big E, and the War Raiders are the current champions. But I do like the New Day in this one. They are minus 1,000, but I think you got to give them the belts. Them winning at WrestleMania will be a big moment for them, and then let them kind of be the heel dominant, shitty heel champions. Let them go on a little title run. I do like the War Raiders, and they've done great work, but I expect the New Day to get it done in this one. On to the WWE Women's Championship match. We got Tiffany Stratton taking on Charlotte Flair. What a build this has been. Rumors that last Friday night there was a shoot promo between the two. Charlotte and Tiffany, their interviews have been controversial where one's up the other, kind of throwing in some real, in pro wrestling they call shoot, which means real situations, mentioning Charlotte's divorce. Charlotte said Tiffany's real life boyfriend, Kaiser's been her DMs. It's been messy, and honestly I think it's kind of hurt the build for both of them. Hope they're both in on it. As a former pro wrestler, it's not right when someone goes into business for themselves. I haven't ever had it happen to me or seen it at an indie show. I've heard stories and it never goes good. But in this case, hopefully they can get along well, because at WrestleMania, when you're working with someone, you have to trust them enough to put your body in their hands. If they lack trust, that could make for a worse match because they just don't trust each other. Could create sloppy outcomes. So hopefully the match's sake they get together, and if it was they both knew about it, maybe they're just working all the internet and said it wasn't really a shoot. Great work by them then. I like the build. It's kind of like the new breed versus the old breed. Who's the queen versus the princess of WWE? This one is almost a pick'em on betonline.ag. Tiffany Stratton's minus 110, Charlotte's minus 130. Bad odds on this, but again, it's pro wrestling, so that's why I have so much vig there. But I do like Tiffany Stratton in this one. I think she gets it done, retains her title, beats Charlotte Flair at minus 110. I think that she should be the favorite in this one. And I think it could be a good females match here. On to the World Heavyweight Championship match. We got the Ring General Gunther taking on Jey Uso. Yeet. Everyone knows that this one's on the card for. It's to get everyone at WrestleMania to yeet, and I think the scene of it will be incredible. I know a lot of the internet fans don't like or kind of over Jey Uso, say he can't wrestle and stuff. He's put on 5-star matches as a tag team. He's this over for a reason. Hate to be that guy, but that IWC and the internet community, even like people that maybe follow my channel who are more smarter fans, eventually, the WWE doesn't care to them. It's for everyone. There's children that love Jey Uso. He kind of reminds me of like a modern day Jeff Hardy in terms of his popularity with the younger audience, and has kind of the it factor where he's ultimately pretty cool and came from a tag team and kind of has that it factor. But I do think Jey Uso gets it done. The odds have shrank on this one. Jey Uso's only, I'm going to say only, but he's a minus 700 favorite. Gunther at plus 400. He was a bigger favorite. I expect you to see Kaiser and Jimmy Uso, Jay's brother, in this one. I love Jey to win it, have that emotional moment with his brother Jimmy, and then have everyone in Vegas, everyone's yeeting to the new World Heavyweight Champion and Jey Uso. Gunther's never had a bad match that I can think of. I expect him to steal the show. Still going to be one of the best in the company, even without the title, and he may win it back eventually, but I think it's right now it has to be all Jey Uso at WrestleMania. On to the next. So right here I have Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton was supposed to take on Kevin Owens. Wish him nothing but the best. Kevin Owens has to have neck surgery. So right now Randy Orton is without an opponent. There are rumors of who he's going to face. It's going to be impossible for me to predict. But if I were WWE, I would have a new superstar debut. I know there's talk he might face SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, who's a former NWA champion, can more than hold his own. But I'd rather him act like he's going to face Randy Orton and then have him debut. Maybe Rusev comes back or an Aleister Black. someone like that who can come in and I would have them beat Orton. So I think whoever comes in against Randy Orton, unless it's Nick Aldis, I think Orton loses here at WrestleMania. He doesn't need it. And whoever beats him is instantly over. If you have Rusev come back and beat Randy Orton, he instantly establishes himself as a major player and a big time heel. Aleister Black comes in, he can come in and be cool and look dominant in a performance returning too. So in this one, I do think Orton loses, but hard to make a real prediction here. So I have Orton losing. On to the next one. This one actually kicks off WrestleMania Sunday. So every match I talked about prior is Saturday. Besides the main event, I'm saving that one for the end. And this kicks off, the match is going to be on WrestleMania Sunday. So we have 2 days of WrestleMania this year. Double the fun. And so right here we have AJ Styles taking on Logan Paul. I think WWE did a great job here with matchmaking. Logan Paul has, I know everyone likes to rip on him, but he can go, man. He's actually a very talented in-ring competitor. And although he's still inexperienced, he has shown that he can put on a show if given the chance. And who better than AJ Styles to make sure that he can put on a good match? You know, AJ Styles is one of those guys who never has a bad match with anyone. So I think this has the makings of potentially, I want to say, kind of stealing the show. And also, if you think about AJ Styles, I'm sure his kids know who Logan Paul is and all the attention that him taking on Logan Paul will do. I'm sure it means a lot to AJ and his family to see him taking on a social media star. So I like this matchmaking. The build's been pretty good as well, with Karrion Kross kind of carrying the build for it actually, but he's not featured in WrestleMania. It wouldn't shock me if we see him make an appearance, maybe an interference somewhere. And this one I do expect Logan Paul to get the win, allowing AJ Styles to kind of bring out the dark side with Karrion Kross to feud after WrestleMania, because you got to figure Logan Paul's going to take a little time off after WrestleMania. So a great match here. I do like Logan Paul to come away victorious. Also, no lines on this one on Bet Online, so no betting advice on this one. In the next matchup, we have Damian Priest taking on Drew McIntyre. I remember when this one first got announced, everyone kind of was, Damian Priest against Drew McIntyre. Last year, if you weren't following wrestling, Drew McIntyre won the heavyweight title on WrestleMania last year, and Damian Priest cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, which allowed him to take on Drew McIntyre, and he actually won the belt from Drew McIntyre after McIntyre won it. So he kind of stole the moment, and that's kind of been the tale of this feud is Damian Priest keeps one-upping Drew McIntyre and beating him when McIntyre isn't expecting it. But on Sunday, it's going to be a Sin City street fight. So, McIntyre's going to be expecting everything's coming his way. I do expect McIntyre to get the nod here. He is minus 1,500 on Bet Online AG. I just think he needs to win more. Damian Priest has proven, he's had a longer title run than McIntyre. McIntyre did lose the Punk feud. Has been feuding since moving to SmackDown. And I think he's arguably the top heel in even kind of the entire company as far as being like a top actual heel besides Cena, who's more, McIntyre's more full time. So I think they got to give McIntyre the win here. But I'm actually kind of excited for this match. The Sin City street fight should be fun. Add something a little different to WrestleMania. On to the next match, we got the Intercontinental Championship match, the first ever Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. So that's kind of exciting. It took all the way to WrestleMania 41 for that to happen. So this one we got Braun Breaker taking on Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio's son, Penta, and Finn Balor. So Dominic and Finn are kind of unified. They're unified in the Judgment Day. They're kind of a stable on Monday Night Raw. Penta, new in the WWE, came over from AEW, has looked nothing but impressive. And Braun Breaker has all the makings of a future star. And I think the reason this match has been made is so that Braun Breaker can drop the title without getting pinned. So that way he can move on to bigger and better things. Not saying the Intercontinental title is a stepping stone, but in this case, I think Braun is a future world champion. Maybe even sooner than later. Every time he comes out, he gets a big reaction. He's a star in the making. And being one of the Steiners, being Rick Steiner's son, he's earned it. In this match, I do think that Dominic Mysterio is actually going to come away with the win. I don't know how they're going to work it, but I think it works out where either Dominic wins and Finn's jealous of Dom winning the title, or Finn wins, like Dominic's about to win. Maybe Penta pulls out Dominic when he already has someone beat, or maybe Braun pulls out Dominic when he already has Penta beat and Finn Balor gets the cover. I'm not sure. Either way, I think it's going to lead to a Finn versus Dominic feud after WrestleMania eventually. I think that's me what's kind of building towards. Wouldn't shock me if Penta got the win, but I think the favorite's probably Dominic Mysterio. The bet online odds are all over the place. Dominic's actually a favorite at minus 250, Penta at plus 250, Braun Breaker at plus 300, and Finn Balor at plus 900. Dominic's the favorite, and I think rightfully so. I would have picked him to win regardless. So I'm going to go Dominic Mysterio in this one. And this match should also be very high-paced, very fun Intercontinental title match. A little break in the show. Next, we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez also in the Judgment Day defending their tag team titles against Lyra Valkyria. I always butcher her name. Taking on Ann Bailey. So Bailey and Lyra were feuding for a little bit. They kind of have the mentorship, friendship angle. They're not really a true tag team, whereas Liv and Raquel are a true tag team at this point in the Judgment Day. With that, I do think Liv and Raquel are going to get it done. This build's also been kind of sloppy. Liv Morgan was kind of the MVP of the female division for most of 2024, so I wish she would have a bigger match at WrestleMania 25. Bailey's always has a great match. She cares about the tag team division a lot, and when she used to be a team with Sasha Banks, and then now with Lyra, I think this is going to be a solid match at WrestleMania. But I'm going to go with the Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. On to the Women's Championship Triple Threat match. We got Io Sky, Rhea, and Bianca Belair in a triple threat. I know some people haven't liked this build. I've actually really, really enjoyed it. I loved when they had Bianca and Rhea kind of being the two stars of the contract signings and all the disputes, and then Io in the background is one who's kind of the one getting most over. So I'd love to have Io retain. But I can see this one going any way. I don't see a true favorite. I wouldn't shock me if Rhea got her title back. Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania, and they know they have that streak going, so it wouldn't shock me if Bianca won either. And she's always a credible champion, and Io's kind of been the star of this feud a little bit in the background, where the two kind of mega stars are finally clashing. So I think ultimately a Rhea versus Bianca WrestleMania match is going to happen. I can even see it main eventing a WrestleMania here in future years in a one-on-one situation. But Io's also a star. She deserves her place here. Three of the most talented females in WWE history are all going to share the stage here. So really excited for this one. Honestly, I don't have a good read on this one. I think it can go any way. My final prediction, I'm going to go Bianca Belair. I think they know that she has the streak going where she's undefeated. It's hard to get that going, man. It's hard to have someone every year go into WrestleMania with a feud that they're supposed to win. And this one can go any direction, so lean her to keep that streak going. But this one I don't have a good read on. So feel free to let me know in the comment section who you like in this one. Then we'll hop back to Saturday. The main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Seth freaking Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk in the battle for Paul Heyman. Not actually, it's just a triple threat match. But this whole feud has kind of been centered around Paul Heyman. CM Punk is finally getting his chance to main event WrestleMania. Everyone thought that was his initial favor going into this, where he jumped in to help Roman Reigns against the other bloodline at Survivor Series. Turns out Punk's favor was that Paul Heyman is no longer in Roman Reigns' corner, but now I'm in CM Punk's favor. Since then, Seth has done a great job in this as well. Seth and Roman, long-term partners in the Shield back in the day. They've always had a great feud. Seth and Punk were supposed to probably main event WrestleMania last year before Punk got hurt. So a lot of intertwining stories here where all three of these guys hate each other. So I've really liked this build as well. I know some people say, well, it's not for anything. There's no title on the line. It doesn't matter who wins. No, they've done a great job telling this story. Who isn't excited to see Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, the three of the biggest stars in the world? Ultimately, though, what I think is going to happen, I think Seth Rollins gets the win here. I think somehow Reigns and Punk screw each other. Maybe Paul Heyman tries to help one of the two, and Seth takes advantage and gets the win. I think this is kind of more of a plot to keep the feud going between the three guys. They each take turns, fighting each other the next few months all the way to SummerSlam, where you can do Punk versus Reigns one-on-one at SummerSlam. Maybe Seth versus Punk in between then. Maybe a Seth versus Roman match. There's so much they could do here. I don't have a good read on this one either. Punk and Seth are both at minus 110 on betonline.ag. Roman Reigns is plus 285. So again, no one really has a great read on it. Even the betting sites. So I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. It wouldn't shock me if Punk won, though. His first WrestleMania back actually performing. I'm super excited to see his entrance, see Punk perform again on a major stage at WrestleMania. And his first time main eventing, right? He's earned it over the years. Super excited for this match as well. Official prediction, Seth Rollins. Oof. Well, we made it. The 14th match and the final match of WrestleMania Night 2. We got Cody Rhodes taking on John Cena. And this feud really picked up gas last month, or 2 months ago now, in February at Elimination Chamber, where Cena did the unthinkable and turned heel. So, for those of you who don't know the story, I don't know how you're watching my video and haven't seen that, to be fair, but essentially, The Rock was looking for Cody to join him, kind of become a corporate champion per se. Cody told The Rock to go yourself. Everyone thought that Cena and Cody were aligned against The Rock. Travis Scott was in the ring. Turns out Cena was with The Rock and Travis Scott the whole time. So I'm actually going to do a second video, I know, of how I would book this match, because I think it's going to be different than what actually happens. Of course, my dream booking is going to be what I think would make this WrestleMania one of the most memorable ones of all time. But what I think happens, this can go one of two ways. This feud's been great too, because everyone's finally booing Cena. Cena's a whole new character we haven't seen before. He's been the same guy for, at least 18, almost 20 years now. Him finally being a heel but not changing his character at all has been great. Cody's kind of turned into the new John Cena. It's the old guard versus the new guard. Who's the top guy in the company? Cena right now on betonline.ag is a minus 210 favorite. Cody Rhodes at plus 160. I think you'd have to bet Cody Rhodes that number. I think it truly is a pick'em where they can go either way. The two ways they can go. You have Cena win, and Cena's a heel champion, holds the belt until someone beats him towards the end of the year, and then he has a retirement match where he turns back to a babyface. I think eventually they do want to send him off before he retires at the end of the year as a babyface, as he probably deserves that ovation. The other route they can go is Cody wins, and it allows Cena to see that maybe everything he's done and thought about this whole time since turning heel isn't accurate. And he starts to have him slowly turn back babyface before winning the belt as a babyface towards the end of the year. Either way, we're in line for a very exciting WrestleMania, very exciting night 2. This is one of the biggest matches I can remember. Last year was huge too with Cody Rhodes versus Roman. It seems to only be getting better with each year of WrestleMania the last few years. Right now, we're kind of in another mini peak in the pro wrestling world. So super excited for this match. My official prediction, I'm going to go Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes retains, but stick around. I'm dropping my how I would book the end of WrestleMania Night 2 and how I will book Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in the next video. So make sure you're following, like, subscribe. I appreciate all your support. Let me know what your WrestleMania predictions are below in the comment section. Love to hear what you think of each match. Maybe give me your prediction and we can see who gets the most right at the end of WrestleMania. Ultimately, everyone love everyone. Enjoy WrestleMania 41. I hope everyone has a great night.